Okay. How are we all doing? So, what are we gonna do today? Well, might not be a long stream. I have changed around the layout of everything here, but what I want to, yeah, it might not be a very long stream, but what I want to do is stress test my new feature I've added, which is modules. As you can see, you can make some nice modules and you can use them fine. This compiles perfectly, but I haven't really tested the the using modules inside a function. Oops, hold on. One sec. So, what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna fix constant variables because they're just not working properly. So let's do that. If I go up to, okay, let's see. If I go up to variables, we go to var parse, and based on if it's const, I don't need to do this, do I? No, because we break and then maybe I do actually. So we set the const variable when we make it if we reach a semicolon. Basically, if we reach a semicolon and so, for example, if we just did the variable usage y, that's not going to do a thing. So we're just going to continue past that. That's fine. But if we do something like well, actually, to be honest, we probably should throw an error and say cannot redefine variable like that. Okay. If we hit an equal sign and if we don't need creation, and is const, then something seriously wrong. So we can just comp error, syntax error, cannot reassign constant variable. And we'll return null pointer. So we'll use the comp error return macro. Now I've also done that down here, and that functionality has since been brought out, so seems like that should work fine. Yeah, I'd say so. Okay, all right. Now next thing is I just want to compile with a little test here. I want to, well, I don't know, anybody who's watching maybe could give me some sort of a clue as to what I should do for this. But let's just get everything out of here, and we'll do a stuff module, and we'll do a method x, and we'll call it an extern, and then a method y, which invokes x, right? And oh, hi Sebastian, how you doing? What's crazy? Now what we're gonna do is invoke stuff of y, and I want to see if this causes an error, because x should be in the same namespace, right? Holy shit. 1 second. My monitor cable has just fallen out. I need to get this fucking socket fixed, like, it's not working in the slightest. Oh my god. What's up? I seen you posting some good stuff. Thanks, man. I appreciate the work you did on some of the suggestions. It really helped me, you know, get a feel for what's going on. I also gave you the contributor role because, you know, I'm nice. But yeah, since then I've added some modules, const variables. I've finished now. I'm gonna commit the patch. Will you support file scope module declarations? File scoped module declarations. Yeah, as in a module in a file. I can import this in another file. I can. Is this? Do you mean by, as in if I imported this into another file, as in like import, or like we use in Redscript, the keyword use. So you say like use stuff, as in the module. Module stuff applies to the whole file. Yeah, I could do that. I don't know though. Module stuff applies to the whole file. Well, currently how it works is we use the like lang file up here, and if we go to that, it has some functions, right? So I could call this a module inbuilt, right? And then I could wrap this all in like that, and we can call, you know, message now with inbuilt message, and that'll work fine. However, you're saying just at the top of the file, module, like a non-defined module, so, or with no body, I'll call it module inbuilt, and then it would put everything below inside. See, I don't like that syntax. One, because there's no support for variables in a module. Like, for example, if I had a constant is 4, we can't do this, okay? It's just, I believe that the modules should be functions only, you know, and constants should be available anywhere without the use of modules. And objects maybe could go in here, but not variables. So if we had, you know, global variables here, like x int, then we'd have some problems. So module is actually just a collection of functions. Yeah, basically. And it's to help kind of import code, you know. I think it's a nice addition, because this is kind of a functional language, despite what we've done on, you know, optimizing the functions and everything. Yeah, it is just right now a collection of functions. Later on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add support for obviously creating the objects in modules, but for now you're just going to have to write that outside, because it's all quite strange trying to initialize something. You support nest? Yes, I do. Yeah, it's in the docs if you want to read it. So I can actually just go and do module extended, and then I can get a method z, and that can invoke stuff y, and that'll compile fine. You can do as much nested modules as you want. You just have to go down here to call it. You do stuff extended z. And I tested it, all works fine, but what I haven't tested is basically doing this. You see, X is, you know, part of the module that we're currently in, and I'm also going to add support for, imagine you wanted to use the module you're currently in, you would use 2 colons like that and say, okay, invoke X in our current module scope. Maybe you can't see that, I'll scale up. So invoke X in our current module scope, and that can be used with global scope as well. So if I made a method method stuff, do stuff, and then I did do stuff, that's the same as just calling do stuff itself, right? I could do that, you know, and it would help distinguish between a method do stuff and something like, how do I explain it? No, actually it wouldn't, but you get what I mean. Yeah, or yeah, it's all implemented, but what I'm going to do now is try and get this to work so we can, you know, reference the current module we're in. So I'm assuming if I compile this now, examples, modules, and to this world, it's going to give me an error saying, hello? Oh, there we go. Expected opening parent. Oh, forgot to get rid of that. Yeah, unknown function name. So obviously it can't find X because we're not telling it what module to look in. And I think that, you know, it takes a lot of time to search for a function if you haven't specified where it is. So I think we should be explicit in that. And I think we should say here, if you want to call something next to you, you should do this. Or alternatively, you can just do stuff X, and this will compile fine. Hopefully. What's going on? Why is it taking so long? Hello? Oh my god, why'd that take so long? That's not the runtime. Look, it works really fast. Yeah, so it compiles fine. And I'll show you how it compiles actually if you'd like. Let me just, I'll open a display capture here. So if we go to saves in our Minecraft and we go to our data pack. So remember, the code we're using is, we have an external method X. So that's not going to be defined. And then Y, which invokes X. And we invoke Y down here. So let's go into data, redscript, function. So you can see that's from a previous compilation. I still have yet to, oh my god, my fucking cable fell out again. I'm gonna lose my mind. I just touched it with my foot accidentally. And I hear sparks. Like I'm damaging my monitor right now. So here's stuff, the folder stuff, and you can see Y is in here. And what Y does is it calls redscript stuff called X. Now, I've denoted it as an extern, and what an extern means is it should be there, you know? It should be right there, but I digress. I'm not kidding. I don't know, I can't get you to hear it, but like the cable is right beside my foot, and if I touch it, the whole thing fucking falls out, and that's so stupid. But yeah, the extern denote, you know, obviously it won't work, but everything works fine. And you can see in the global scope, we just initialize everything and we call stuff Y. So it's working fine. Now, obviously, I want to make it so we don't have to write the name of the module. We can just say the current module. So let's take a look at our source code. This is a returned comp error of null pointer, I think. What are we returning? Is it going to tell me? Variable. Okay. So just to take a look at this, for example, we just saw that. Let's try it again. So it says redscript does not yet support accessing the current module. So I actually predefined stuff like that. So we're going to find that redscript does not yet support. So here, when we get our module access, what we can do is, let's scope out for a second. Oh, sorry, I'm still streaming my screen. Yeah, I love C++ for extern, and it's also this double colon syntax looks really nice to me. Like it appeals really nice. This is kind of just stylistic choices. The extern keyword, to me, it's like, it's just short for external, and it just denotes, like, imagine someone gave you, imagine you wrote a redscript function by hand, right? and you wanted to place it in this module, in this folder, you could go place it in, and then this would just link for you perfectly fine, as long as you wrote it with Redscript's, you know, functionality. I like double colon, so I can get behind that, but extern, I don't love that. Well, what would you suggest? Like, what do you think is better? I'd say, like, see, I used to remember the decorators in the docs. We can actually go to the docs. Redscript surge.shell. I don't know why it doesn't scale properly, but we can go down to what am I going to again? Yeah, functions. So decorators, extern is used to denote an externally Redscript compiled function already present in the destination's data pack folder. So in future versions, you'll be able to define what namespace it exists in, because remember, I'm gonna have it so everything here gets purged when you recompile. It goes away, and you know, new stuff gets added. I think maybe I won't do that. And then you'll have here a world edit 1, for example. That's a, you know, a command you can run. And imagine that was compiled with Redscript. Then you have inbuilt, which is for Minecraft commands. CPP, which is for inbuilt conversion functions that I've already made in the compiler itself. But what I've left out here is a keyword for, bear with me here, a keyword for just an external command. I think that's inbuilt. You know, I might use that. So imagine someone had made another data pack themselves that has nothing to do with Redscript. Then you would use inbuilt to link that. How does it behave when you declare a function? Oh my god. Okay, let me go back. How does it behave when you declare a function without a body or extern keyword and end it with a semicolon? I think it's undefined behavior. I don't think I've given an error to that. Maybe I have. Let's see. I feel like okay, oh, why is my computer shitting itself? So method something with nothing seems to just not care. And if we take a look at the output of, not that, here, well, we didn't call it, did we? So let's instead of calling stuff y, let's call something. It just treats it as a, yeah, maybe you're right, maybe I should function Redscript something. Okay, that's a problem. Let's fix that straight away, because I think you and I both can agree that this is, you know, we're not gonna go down here later and you know what, I think we could do some forward declaration shenanigans, as in I could do something like call something, right? Now remember, I could go down here and define something, yeah, and just do it to message we did something. So this would, you know, call it and do that, and this would still be compiled fine. So let's run it. Pretty sure it'll work. This is actually unintentional, but I think it's really good. So it calls something, and if we go down here to the function something, ooh, it has nothing. It has nothing. So there you go. So it didn't like that. It's a bit strange. It's a bit strange, actually. I didn't. Yeah. What do you think? Forward declarations or too messy? I think we leave forward declarations in, because then we could do some defining, but it would take some revisions. Depends on whether or not you enforce functions to be declared for usage. Yeah, so if I got rid of this and tried to call it, it's gonna say it doesn't know what the function is. because we haven't defined it yet. Now, obviously, if we just assumed this was a function, it would still compile and work fine, but I don't want that to happen because what if we add overloaded functions and stuff like that? So again, all in the future. So yeah, you can't call this function if it isn't defined yet. So what I'm going to do right now is just quickly fix our variable problem, or remember our double colon problem, and then I'll go straight and assess. Let's do a little brainstorm on whether or not we should have forward declaration in functions, because like I do use it in my project here. Like I'd say a few of these files do use some forward declaration. Like actually, no, I just go to the header of this one. You can already see we're predefining type defines for an unsigned integer. We're also forward declaring some classes so we don't get any include problems. You know, it's really powerful, but also messy. I'll admit to that, you know. Let me see something. Okay, real quickly, this should be an easy fix. Oh, so the problem I was having, sorry, the problem I was having was, where am I? I'm trying to, this fucking, it's so hard to navigate this file. Here. So if we have a word and it's followed by a double colon, then we'll do all our nice parsing, right? But if we get to a double colon here and there's no word, then we need to do all of this, but just use the current module, you know? So what we should do is make it into a lambda function, yeah? So let's do it in here. Oops. They are good for arguments for enforcing declaration before usage, but sometimes I find it to be annoying, especially when I want to do indirect recursion, which is not often, but happens. Yeah, I agree. It does just make everything a pain. And maybe we should enforce it, or maybe we should just implement it and see if people complain. That might be a good idea. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a lambda called module parse usage. And this is just going to take in, it's going to be reference captured, and it's going to just take in, how do I get this to work? If you make it strict, you can loosen it up later. Can't go vice versa. Yeah, I agree. I agree. There is a bug though, because it doesn't actually fail compiling, but you can see if I were to do this, I think it creates two functions or something like that, and it didn't override the first one, so something's going on here. And no pun intended. Okay, I don't want to make a lambda for this. Sebastian, take my position right here. I want to do all this code down here, and I don't want to, you know, copy and paste, but a function seems too overkill because it's just a few lines, and I want to use a goto, but I can't. So if I wanted to say, okay, we're out of module access, and what I can do is modules.findWord. I don't think a function is overkill. Would need a lot of arguments or something. Yeah, see, I was thinking, okay, let's try it. I was thinking there it would need a lot of arguments, but then I was also thinking maybe it wouldn't, so let's just go with it. Let's go straight away. So, parse module usage, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take in just a string for its name, and we can const reference that, just, you know, if we want to pass it in. So all we want is a name, really. And I'll just say a comment here must be called at index of name. No, because remember the two usages we have for this. One usage will be we're trying to parse this, for example, right? Stuff X. So we know this is a module usage, so we need to pass stuff into this function, the name stuff. But if we had this, we'd need to understand that we want to pass in the global module. So what I'm going to actually do is change the first parameter to be the first module of the tree of modules. So if it was stuff X, stuff 2, stuff 3, we're just going to pass in the first one and work from there, right? So let's make that a shared pointer. RS module, and we'll reference that. Then we'll just call it root. And what I'm going to do is, okay, this might work. So we can just copy all of this, I'd say. Gotta put a semicolon there. Oh my god, I just formatted the whole file. It's 3,000 lines long. So we're gonna do while. So if it's called at the index of the name, so we're at the module access, and then we can call this. This is gonna return a bool, whether or not it worked or not. So this is going to be comp error or, so we're going to return, bear with me here, this will come to fruition in a second. So we'll return false, false, and we'll return true if the parsing was successful. Current module, we need to make that this, I think. So let's not make that a reference then. Okay, we'll come back to that. Down here, we need to figure out the way this will work. So we get the module, and currently the token we're at is this colon, this double colon. So if we call it that double colon, so what I'm going to do is, yeah, so we're going to call it the index of the name. Because this is going to, oh yeah, this code will work fine because we're at the double colon. Call that index of double colon module access operator. As you can see, we're going to go to the next token straight away. So we're going to skip past that and go again. And then we're going to do module iter is current module. Children, fine. So we're going to try and find a child in that module, right? And if we can't find a child, then we break. And if we can, we keep going, we keep going, we keep going. Then we do all this and we call parse. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. That seems like it'll work. So what we do down here is we get the current module, and we're just going to call parse module, or what was it? Parse module usage. And we're going to pass in, well, we can just do module second and skip all the assignment here. And if that doesn't work, we are going to return program. So something has, okay, so for right here, we're going to return false. This call parse will set the error for us. And there's no other, there is a return false. You see, it'll set the error for us. So we can just go down the tree until we get to the end and we'll print the error. So that works fine. Hopefully. Now I know it probably won't. So down here, we can use module access. And if we say, if we have the program's current module, the current module that we're in, we're going to try parse module usage. One second. First of all, I'm going to advance to the colon. No, we're at the colon. Remember, we're at the colon. So we're going to parse module usage with the program.current module. Grand. And if that doesn't work, we're just going to return program. So something went wrong. And if we don't have a current module, in other words, we're in the global scope, then, well, we can just do nothing. Because this double colon is, like, imagine if I had method something, and down here I called double colon something. We know if we skip past this double colon, it'll just go and do the function call for us. So I'm pretty sure we can just, well, we can advance and go straight to function call, I guess. But I don't want to do that, so we're just going to break. Alright, let's compile that. What do you think? Is it going to break? And my monitor cable fell out. So the code didn't break, but my monitor did. Oh my god, it's going to fucking explode. What do you think? Is it going to break? I don't know. Hello? What the fuck? Okay, we're back. Let's build. Yeah, you're right. The function wasn't overkill. I'm just trying to think. If we're referencing the global scope, yeah, then we shouldn't really do anything, should we? Yeah. We shouldn't do anything. I wonder whether there can be a name conflict with modules. Yeah. That's why I wanted to do the stream, was to actually stress test that. What if we have two modules? Is there a module already exists error? No. So the code that handles, and by the way, this is on the GitHub if you ever want to sift through it. It's pretty bad code, but I like doing it. So here's the keyword module. And yeah, I didn't put an error here, so wait, maybe I did. No, I didn't. So we need to do if program.modules.find name does not equal to program modules.end, then we're gonna comp error okay, something's wrong. Okay, if we're in a current module, so if we're in a module here, right, and we had a module do and then another module do, we'd have to check in the children of stuff. So if we're in a current module, then we can do here if program.current module dot functions dot find. I can just reference that. We can do auto functions is that, and we can do functions dot find name does not equal to functions dot end. Ah, can I spell? What the heat today is getting to me. Really here, it's hot here in Ireland. So we're going to compare syntax error. Module already exists with that name. Okay. Am I? Yeah. Now down here, if we don't have a current module, do an else statement. I'll say else if program.modules.find name does not equal to program.modules.end. then we can just say the same error. So that's the name conflict resolved. But for now, let's see if we can compile this. Redscript does not... Did I not get rid of that? Redscript does... I didn't get rid of the error. Oh my god. Okay, but we had to build it anyway. We had to build it anyways. It's all good. It's all good. I've also... Your suggestion for our work on implementing the... Or rather, methods with modules. Oh, you're so right. I have to do that for methods as well. Wait, so if I go to methods and function, where does it? Function already exists. I don't even have that? Excuse me? What? Uh-oh. Oh my god. Okay, wait, I gotta fix that, but let's take a look. What happens? Okay, it works. If I get rid of that. Oh, that's a segmentation fault. Uh-oh. Okay, time to go into debugger mode. Yeah, no, we are royally cooked here. Hopefully it's like an infinite loop or something. I can increase the font here. Oh, shit. And my monitor cable fell out. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Something's up with this cable. Something is up. Okay, so... What the... So my monitor refuses to turn on. It's literally on its last fucking legs. What's Valgrind? I don't know what that is. It's an infinite. Oh, interrupt. Okay, give me the trace. Where? Shit. Well, let's try debugging with. That. Okay, so that didn't work. Oh. Was it the double? Yeah, look, it was the double do's up here. That was the problem. So if I made one do... Oh! What? What kind of error is that? So a module with nothing in it makes me stall forever? Valgrind allows you to run a binary compile with the debug symbols, and it shows you exactly where a segmentation fault occurs. You can also find memory leaks and their source. Yeah, I'm actually like, I think I've heard of that, but what I've become so good at finding seg faults with GNU debugger that I don't think I need it. Like, I know exactly where the seg fault should be because I've like tried to program in a certain way that I kind of learned. But maybe I should see what it does. Okay, so this just breaks, and what I can see is it's already written the code to it's already written the bytecode instructions to the output here. So as you can see here, look, we have module with a module that has nothing. Well, actually, if I just do that, I should get the error, right? A module with nothing in it. That should give me an infinite... No, it's a module within a module with nothing. Okay. So, I actually use breadth for search to go through all the modules, and if I go down here to... Oh, can I open it here, please? Is it here? Where I completely forget where I'm going. Should be down. Oh, here. Yeah. Here we go. Here's the adding modules. So if a here, this is it. We try to insert new functions begin and new functions end. But if they're equal, I wonder what happens. So that's, again, obviously, the begin and end will be equal if there's nothing in it. So I can just save myself the hassle and say, if new functions dot size is greater than 0, then do this. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, so apparently, yeah, when we were just looking at that for a second, up here, I don't check for duplicate functions, which is really, really strange. I thought I did. Keyword method. Let's just add it in, I guess. So here, if we're in the current module, if program current module, we need to make sure that obviously we're going to do if program dot current module dot find functions dot find name, and again I'm going to turn this into a auto reference functions and do functions dot find doesn't equal to the end of functions. Then we can comp error and give syntax error function already exists in module. Okay. If we are in a program.current function, remember nested functions work, so we can have method something, and then if we had method x and gave that extern, and then we had method x like that and gave that extern, or gave it a body or something, well, obviously that's two of the same functions, so we're going to do the same thing with all of this. If program current function, how do I do this? How do I do nested functions? I don't, actually. I don't. Nested functions are just compiled as normal, which is really stupid. Wait. So you're telling me if I do method X, method Y, and then call Y, nested function definitions cannot be called outside their parent function body. See, oh, outside that scope, we should know what y is, right? It should say, the error should be, well, I don't know what y is. But the problem, remember, when we compile the functions, is x becomes x.mc function, and y becomes y.mc function. So I'm also going to copy this code here, just for a second, and do program.functions. So we'll do program.functions. Program.functions. So that works fine, okay? Function already exists. We can agree we got a problem on our hands because how would you go about this, okay? When I'm going to be implementing what we've theorized with the, let me show you here, with the lambda operator, for example. So I said we would use that lambda operator. Remember, everything needs to be compiled to a function, but I need to name those functions. And remember, I said down here, subject to change. I came up with the idea of the name of the branch or the ID of the branch, and then the hash of a function. But is the hash of a function too much? Because remember, I want Minecraft to not spend too much time looking for the function. You know what I mean? Like if they store it in hash tables, that's good, but still too long of a hash table name, not great. I don't think so. And then an ID here, right? So this is a lot of searching for something. And over here, well, we have two functions, and what I should do with y, I think, is we could do x underscore y. But again, then I could go out here and make a function. I can actually make a function called x underscore y, can't I? So I need to employ something such as, remember, the hash of a function for x. So like some random stuff here, underscore y. Why would Minecraft be searching for it? Don't you output the exact name? Yeah, but I'm assuming the internals of Minecraft is gonna go and search through a hash map to find it and then invoke it. You know what I mean? So maybe that isn't a problem because hash map is O of n, or you know what I mean? What's it called? But it's fast. It's fast. Maybe you're right. Maybe, yeah. Actually, long names is fine. Lookup is O of 1. Never mind. Actually, you're right. Yeah, it is O of 1. Oh, yeah. O of 1. Okay, so it doesn't matter how long the name is then, because the hashes will be the same size for everything, right? Yeah, if I put in the function name x, the hash for x is going to be like 20 characters long, right? Unless you have a lot of collisions, which you won't have. Yeah. So what should I do here? Get the hash of the function? Get the hash of the function name? Because again, just remember, they still could write a function name like that. They could do A3 underscore Y. They still could do that. We use a 32-bit integer as a hash, not your string. Oh. Wow, I need to study up on hash maps. It's been a while since I dabbled in their Marvel. Actually, yeah, you're right. It is integer keys. Wow, it's been too long. So someone can define this function. And I'm already using a map already, so I can actually access this hash. So you can call it whatever you want, but I have a question. Will you be able to call that branch function from Minecraft chat? Yeah, you will. You can straight away, like once this is compiled, it'll come up with an autocomplete for you to say, if I do /function, it'll come up with redscript x. It'll come up with redscript gobbledygook underscore y. It'll come up with both of those. But again, that's not the player. The player doesn't need to worry about that. The player just needs to know, because the outputted entry point function will be the name of the world they made. So remember, ours is going to be redscript testing with no camel, because I'm compiling to a world called redscript testing. So then I would prepend it with something so that it doesn't clutter players autocomplete. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking prepend or postpend, but or append, but yeah. Okay, prepend. So let's try it. I actually don't know how to access the raw hash from a hash map, but where's that error? Nested functions. Okay. So we have the scope of the function, for example. I will need to okay, so if you think about it, you can have a method x with a method y with a method z, okay? So you can have a function and a function and a function. So therefore, the method z would compile to x hash dot or underscore y hash underscore z dot MC function. That's what it'll compile to, okay? So we need in every function to keep a list of its parent function hashes. And again, can you tell me, I need your help with this, right? If I had, you see this x hash is in a method, right? What if I also had a this was all in a module, right? Like that. So that was all in a module. Sorry, if you can't see it, I'll scale up here. And so and we call this test. So now you can invoke test z by doing test x, y, or test, sorry. You can't invoke it, you just have to call test x, right? Would the x function's hash be the same as that? No, it wouldn't, right? It'll be completely different. If I created a function outside and I created a function inside a module, would the hash be the same? Because remember, a module is just a list of functions. And out here is just also the global function is a list of, the global scope is a list of, it's a different method, so it should have a different hash. So it'll have another randomly generated hash that won't align because they are the same name, but we know they're different functions. So remember, if I copied this code here, even though we've already you know, made that up here, these are still completely different functions and should have completely different hashes. Okay. But is that how C++ works? Is that, do you know? Maybe I should look it up. Just for your information, modules will get compiled into their own folders. So I actually think it doesn't really matter because the output of this is going to be, it's going to be a test /x and then test /x hash y and then test /x hash y hash z, and these are all MC functions. So that's the output for that. So let me just... How do folders look for players in game? What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. And then down here, it'll get compiled to just x.mc function. And then x hash y.mc function. And then x hash y hash z.mc function. So these are all separated regardless, you know? So I think this is fine. I think this works fine. If you have test hello.mc function, why did I click on that? How will your player call it from in-game chat? But again, they won't call it. But they will if they wanted to, which they shouldn't. They shouldn't be calling functions because variables on stack haven't been initialized yet. They would call it by using function red script or wherever it comes from, and then test / and then the name of the function. So hello. So it's as simple as doing that. Okay, so let's try implementing this. If I go to an RBC function, a redscript bytecode function, it has a name, variables, instructions, decorators, return type, module path, and now down here, it should have a vector, which is a list of standard hash? I don't know how to use standard hash. It's a string, right? Okay, and does autocomplete suggest full paths or folder names first? Couldn't tell you. I'd have to boot up the game to see. I'd say it would be probably full names. Probably. Let's just standard string this, and we'll call it parent function hashes. And we'll go back out here, and we will oh, this is getting really, really confusing. Oh my god. Shame? Why is it a shame? I'm not sure. This is getting really confusing. So, basically, I gotta redesign a lot of shit. So, nested functions technically don't actually work like nested functions. You'd think all of the functions contained within X are stored within X's structure. But no, I actually just make Y a function of the global scope. That's why we can reference Y outside of X, which should not happen. So what I'm going to do now is, well, we got to keep a list of functions like this. So let's get rid of the hashes for a second. So we got to redesign this, and we got to do vector of shared pointers. If autocomplete suggested folders first, you could pop all branches into auto-generated folder or something, so it'd be hidden away. Suggested folders for you could pop. I think I see what you're getting at. I think I'll boot up the game in like 10 minutes or so, and we'll actually test that out. But for now, yeah, that is a shame actually. Yeah, I just realized that. Damn it. Okay, so this is gonna be child functions. Oh my god, like this code is just, there's so much going on. So this is all the children inside the function. And, you know, now, when we look for a function, and if we're in a function, we're gonna have to look for even more functions. I mean, I don't know. Does that make sense to people? Like, you know, if I'm in X and I'm calling a function called stuff, right? We don't know where stuff is, so we got to check all the modules, we got to check the global scope, and we also got to check all of our functions inside this, which is a bit annoying, and it takes a lot of time. But look, I digress. Let's do it. So child functions are here, and obviously when we're in X, the program scope has been incremented, so the scope is all 1 here, right? So therefore, that if statement here, so if the function scope is greater than the program's current scope, I can get rid of that later. Useless. So this is call parse, not func parse. So let's go down to, let me see. 1 second. I just refreshed my chat there, so if you said something, I didn't see it. So if we go down to, where we parse function declarations with the method keyword, if we have program current function right here, we're going to push it to a stack and start parsing. Okay. Oh, it's as simple. Oh, I'm so smart. It's as simple as, when we hit that close bracket, the way my program works is it will pop, like, let's say for Z, for example, when we finish Z was the current function we're in, and now it's not. So what we do is we, erase Z, and we do stuff with Z and maybe add it to the global functions, right? And then Y turns out there is a parent function, so we can just set Y to be the current function. So there's a stack of functions waiting to be the current function. So like stack the data type. So let's go down. So here you can see when we hit a curly bracket closed, so this, then we can go down to function when we close a function, and you can see that if the function stack is not empty, so there's a parent function, then what we can do is we can get the parent and insert, and we can append a child, which is the child function that we just made. So we can do if we have a current module. Okay, this is a big long if statement. So if we have a program dot current function and we're ending a function, sorry, if program dot function stack, so if it's not empty, right, then we're gonna need to get the parent function, which is gonna be auto parent is program. I'm feeling a bit sick, so we get the top of that. 1 second. We're gonna get the top of that function, or sorry, at the top of the function stack. So that's our parent, and what we can do is just parent, and we can do parent child functions push back program dot current function, and then that's grand, perfect. And then we can set program dot current function equal to our parent. But what if so that all works. And what if this was all in a module? Well, we still do the same thing. So there should be a break statement here. And we can get rid of all of this. So if we have a parent function, we're going to append the child and then we're going to break out of this switch. Okay, append the child. And then down here, obviously there's no parent function, but what if we're ending this X function and there's a module here? Then we append the function to the children of the module. Children to the function children of the module. And then if there's no module, then we append it to the global scope. And then finally, because we know there isn't a parent function, current function becomes nothing. Perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. And now that I have, okay, I'm gonna be 2 seconds. I'm just gonna go take piss. I'll be 2 seconds. I want you guys to help me out so much here, because like if I'm doing something wrong, someone's gonna call me out, because look, I'll be 2 seconds. 1 second. Okay, I am back. Excuse me. Anybody new, you can say hi in chat. I can try and demonstrate what I'm doing, because I know it's a little bit hard to join these streams and figure out what I'm doing. But basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to implement nested functions properly, so that they don't interfere with functions created elsewhere in my language. There's a Discord below. You guys should join the Discord. It should be linked on my Twitch. It'll bring you to our little community where we, talk about what I'm doing, and it's give you a little bit more insight. There's documentation if you want to use the language. It's pretty good. You should join. But if you don't, there's GitHub there. You can check it out yourself, and some instructions. Okay, plug is over. So I've done all this, so that's perfect. Now the only problem is compiling a child function. So again, we're gonna need the... Okay, so let's go down here. So at the very end of this function, at the very end of converting everything, is my chat not working? Can someone send a message? I don't think my chat is working. Oh, it is. Never mind. Thank you. So down here, we return the program, and in the mc.cpp file, we're going to convert everything to Minecraft function, to Minecraft functions, yeah. No, it should be in here. Yeah, down here, to MC, sorry. So at the very end of this, we need to be able to know how to parse the function. So you can see that's parse function, and right here what we're doing is we're going through all the modules functions and going through all the global functions, or we're appending all the modules to all of our functions, right? And now you can see down here for the Minecraft program, we're inserting a bunch of functions, and what we need to do is also insert the function, but with the hash for the name, I think. Yeah, something's gone wrong here, because obviously method X inside of this test module is not the same as method X out here. But you can see mcprogram.functions is a map of standard string, and there cannot be duplicates. Standard string is key, and there can't be duplicates. So Let me test that real quick. I have a method X out here and a method X in here. And I just compile this. So X is done out here. And yeah, look, exactly. There's no X inside of module. Wait, no. Wait. Didn't even compile test. Yeah, didn't even make the module. That is strange. And if I got rid of X out here, there you go, test exists. So that is it's a bug. It's a bug. Okay. How are we gonna fix that? Oh my god, bugs everywhere. Okay, let's see. So yeah, what we're doing is we are overriding the function, and that's not good. And MC program functions, if I find its references, I'm assuming all I'm doing is iterating through it. I'm not like, boom, there you go, I'm iterating through it. So what this should actually be is a list. And functions have a name, so we don't need a key value pair. So we can just convert this entire thing to a list. So we can convert this to a pushback, and I can go into here and change this to a vector. So this is going to be a standard vector of MC functions. Notice how MC function is different to RBC function, because RBC function is for the bytecode, has a bunch of assembly instructions, but MC function has a bunch of Minecraft instructions, Minecraft commands. So we can actually just skip. No, we can't. So that's good. Now, what I'm doing here is, well, what the problem is here is, I've just figured out, right, is basically functions, the children don't know they have a parent. Which is kind of strange to say, but if the children don't know they have a parent function, and then I iterate through these functions and I get to the child and I'm like, do you have a parent? Because we need the parent to add the hashes to the name. The child goes, no. But the parent knows that it has children. So what I'm going to do is go into RBC function, and we're just going to make a shared pointer. This is so disgusting. Shared pointer RBC function to its parent. That's it. And we can set that to null pointer for now. Okay, so if that's null pointer, then we go back up to where we call close bracket close, curly bracket close, and here program current function is equal to parent. And before we do that, the child is already in current program.current function. We can do parent is equal to parent. So we assign that perfectly. So now we have a record of traversing up the parent. Let's go down. I think it's all working. I'm just like, when I pause and I don't talk, I'm just contemplating everything going wrong, and then I kind of wean out everything that, you know, I realize won't go wrong. Okay, so there's going to be errors in this file, like this, for example. So I'm gonna need to make a name field in the MC function. Just make a standard string name. Go back to RBC CPP, and here we're gonna get the name in here, which is gonna be function.burst. Grand. Okay. Yep, should work. So, now that we know the parents of all the functions, when we're writing a function, all we need to do is append the hash if it has a parent. So here's the function and the path, yeah? When we call write function down here and up here, so global function will never have that. Down here it will. So if the module path, this is for compiling all the folders, you know, we create all the folders to get to the module, and we go through all the modules that the function is in, we try to create it. And fucking monitor cable, I swear to God. I actually might need sellotape for it. Okay, I thought it, like... Is it, please work. Thank goodness. So we create the directory, and down here we append MC function. Now, when we get to this function, first of all, we need to already consider straight away the hash path. That's what I'll call it. Parent hash path. And we can actually make the standard path. Sorry, file system path. Like so. Okay. And then we can do standard shared pointer. Our BC function, it doesn't know what that is. Whoops. Wait, but here we're compiling. I'm going insane. Okay, so remember what I said earlier about we're not working with MC functions, we're working with redscript bytecode functions. Or the other way around. We're not working with redscript bytecode functions, we're working with these guys. So here is a module path, all the commands, and the name. He also will need a shared pointer to an MC function, parent. So then we can access the name. No, we're just going to make it an RBC function. RBC function. I hope that's predefined. We're including error, BST, MC helpers, and util. So I need to forward declare it. So now we have the reference to that parent, and down here, when we create the MC function, we can make all the parameters we need. And here, pass in function.second parent function. Really? It's just called parent. Okay, that should be fine. What's wrong? Incomplete type. Why is it an incomplete type? Well, it's because I'm pointing to a forward declared thing. Okay, so maybe right here is where we should make the hashes instead of that. So we should actually just make a standard string. Or file system path. No, it should be a string. Parental hash string. Here's where we should do it, right? And not in MC command. We were doing it up here, were we? That's okay, yeah. So here we can just do function.name, but we can do function.parental hash string plus an underscore, and we could just do that if parental function dot parental hash string dot empty, then we do all of this without this, like so, and then else we do all of this, but we do function name, but we do all this before with parental hash string, and we add an underscore, and the same thing up here. It should be the same thing. Path function. Func path slash function name. So that's just got to be different. There we go. Almost done. Almost time to test. I'm gonna just in case wrap that in a curly brackets for readability, I guess. Now we need to make the hash stuff. So we can do all this, and we don't have to define the f.parental hash string, but we can do that by doing function dot second compute parental get parent hash string. And I'll go into MC function or this, and we'll do standard string get parent hash string. Okay, and we'll define that, and we'll implement it in here. Okay, that seems to be working. I don't want to put it here. I guess I'll put it up RBC function. Where am I doing some other functions for it? Here we go. So we can do it in here. Get parent hash string, and we'll make sure this is part of RBC function. And in here, we're going to say if our parent doesn't exist, return empty string. And then we're going to do standard shared pointer RBC function current parent is parent, and then we'll make our string that we're going to return, and we'll call this parental hash parent hash and then I'll do a do while, and we'll return, I think it's a do while, and we'll return our parent hash. So do while current parent while it exists, but we can do while current parent is equal to current parent parent. That's a bit weird, but no, the current parent exists. That won't cause a sig fault, I hope. Famous last words. Okay, so now I need to find a way to get the hash of the function name. So let's Google that. C++ get hash of string. That's it. Standard hash of standard string. Oh, and then you have to make an object and then invoke it. Okay. All right. So we're gonna outside here make a hash generator. And then we could just do parent hash dot plus equals by hash and invoke it with a string, which is going to be current parent name. Boom. Now there's a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to plus an underscore. And then at the end, I'm going to do parent hash dot pop back. So we get rid of that last trailing underscore. Okay. All that code for the last 40 minutes is compiled now. And it won't do much, but we can test it out. So let's test out method y. So this should be the hash of x, y in the same folder as test. And then I should be able to call y outside here. So let's build this. Woo! Did you guys understand that? I'm new to this streaming thing, so I kind of just ramble. Oh my god. It's fine. Thanks, man. Soon enough, we'll have a few thousand viewers, I promise. I also started working on the video for RedScript when it comes out. It's pretty funny on the first 2 minutes. I might upload a sneak peek on the Discord this week or next week. Right now, I have to do my own coding for work, so rambling in the background is nice, actually. Thanks. You know, I actually respect you for doing that, because keeping the stream open might distract you, but thanks so much, man. Yeah, your own coding, so rambling in the background. Hey, look. No worries. If that's my job today, to be a rambler, that's okay. I can ramble. I can ramble all day. So right now, like, my view of RedScript is, I think it's at like 0.6. We're almost there to RedScript alpha. So okay, compiled. Let me show you. What's the module called? Module test. Uh-oh. Didn't work. Why didn't it work? It didn't work. Wait. Am I losing my mind or something? Okay, let's delete everything in here. I don't need any of this. Let's compile again, because this is hard to read. Okay. Okay, so it didn't even compile the damn folder for the module. Okay. Okay. Great. Didn't even compile the folder. What? Why? Oh, I think I know why. It didn't compile the module, which means down here, he says down here when he scrolls down 2,000 lines of code. Where is it? Here it is. Down at... Wait. Here. This is where we add all the modules. And then we do There's a problem here because again we have that unordered map issue with all the functions. How does this work? If the module size is greater than 0, we're gonna for all the modules in the program modules, push it. Yeah. This should work. First of all, I see another problem because what if the modules function X also is in the program functions X? It's going to get overridden. So I'm actually going to Google right here, C++ convert map values to vector. Standard transform, okay. So all functions here shouldn't be just an auto, it should be a standard vector of standard shared pointer of bytecode function. And this should be all functions. And then we do standard transform all functions dot begin, all functions dot end, standard back inserter, okay, of all functions. I'm copying this straight from Stack Overflow. I mean, like, who doesn't? And then what? What? Oh, it needs a function. Yeah, we just use a lambda for this, no? Yeah, to be honest, I'm gonna just resort to a for loop. For auto reference func in program dot functions, all functions dot pushback func dot second. Okay. And then instead of inserting, we can just for auto reference func of new functions, all functions dot pushback new func. Okay. Func dot second. So that's going to help us with that, but I don't think that solves our problem. If you ask me. Let's build it and see what it does. I'm really confused how it didn't compile this. Like, it just didn't care. What if I try calling test X? I might have to go in 10 minutes or so. But what I might do is just do like a 4 or 5 hour stream in a few hours and get all this done and dusted and start working on features I enjoy working on, because I enjoy doing this, but it really will, at the end of the day, people will not be using this language that seriously. I hope they will. I hope I program something that is actually viable to use. And my plan for this actually is to get this out to like people like Phoenix SC and, you know, lots of command block creators and stuff that might want to try it out and give me their critiques on it. And maybe if they make a video, then we definitely will have some viewers, I'll tell you that much. But hey, it's not about the viewers. It's about enjoying the process, and I'm loving this so far. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I know, right? Maybe get some... Recursion is not supported yet. Oh, that is a horrible error to see. Why in God's green earth is it saying that? What? Okay, so the problem lies somewhere when we want to end the function. It didn't actually end the function. So if we're in a module, no, sorry, if the function stack isn't empty, but we know it is, so it goes down here. It says if it's a current module, then we're going to insert the function and we're going to reset the current function. And recursion is not supported yet. Is called when current function's name doesn't equal our name. Okay, let's go into GNU Debugger R script, and we will continue and break at rbc.cpp 614. I don't even need to give this, I just want to see. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, so p program dot current function. Uh-oh. Name is X. And we've reached this how? Oh, because p name. What? It thinks we're calling X inside X. So in other words, and my cable fell out. Okay. In other words, I need to break where we end the function. RBC CPP 1008. And I'll run it all again. Okay, so program.function stack. This should be Y now. Oh, we're at message, okay. That scared me for a second. Now we're at kill. Now we're at Y. Okay. So Y seems to work fine, because what we do is we go in and we say parent is that, pushback, and now if I print that, its parent should be that, and if I print parent, it should be X. Beautiful. Let's continue. Now we're at X. So hello, Nigel. How you doing, man? So now that we're at X, yeah, okay, so let's print current function. Oops. Yeah. And you can see it has a child function there, which is good. Okay. Now let's print program.function stack. How does it have a parent? Oh, did I forget to do function stack.pop? I did. Wow, I forgot to function stack.pop. Wow. Anyone here have a Nobel Prize for most biggest dumbass? I'll take that, please. I forgot to pop it. And the code was there doing it fine, but I cut it out and completely forgot about that line. Hopefully this doesn't cause a seg fault. Okay, you know what? I should add that to like my quotes list. Hopefully this doesn't cause a seg fault. Wow, I am so hungry. I'm so hungry I could eat a certain animal with 4 legs. I wonder what that animal is. I really do wonder. Oh, Jesus Christ, any day now. I almost hit 80 years old. Thank God. Guys, the moment of truth. The moment of truth. Am I a good programmer or am I never getting a job? Okay, it looks like I'm never getting a job. So X, X is here and we're calling test X, but Y doesn't exist. So Y doesn't exist. I gotta lock in. That's the only answer. So Y didn't exist. But we know it was part of the children. And yeah, so the problem, that's the one thing I forgot to implement. So it's actually just me being an idiot. Thank goodness it wasn't some crazy error. So if I go down here, close the parse function. Down here, we add all the modules and we go through all the functions. And we parse the function in here, yeah. But we also want to parse the function for all of the children. So I'm going to do this basically. Every time we push a function back, we're also going to, oh, this is the worst code I've ever seen. Look at the amount of loops, 4 while 4. There's going to be another 4 out here. Child in function, all functions dot push back child. Function dot second dot child functions. Oh my God. I can copy this here. And then also I love this code theme. Like I'm a red type of guy, especially with naming a red script and all. Red's my favorite color, so this code theme is really nice. Instead of doing funk second. Okay, alright. See what it does. I just had a brainwave that this isn't gonna work. Uh-oh. What do I do, guys? Uh-oh. Give me a second. I don't think this is gonna... It's gonna work, I think, but it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna work, but it's not gonna work. I'm gonna write a comment here for anybody reviewing this. This code is a monstrosity, but all it does is get all the functions ever created and put them in one neat list. Yes, I definitely want speech recognition. Yeah, I know. I'm so good at explaining. Watch. I'm going to explain exactly why I thought this right now. So let's go check File Explorer. There we go. We got Y with nothing in it. And X with nothing in it. And we're still calling test X. Okay. But Y doesn't have its parental thingy, its hash. So for example, if I was to do this, Y message test and compile that, so it actually works, we can compile it. But as you can see, it's nowhere to be found because it got overridden by the other Y. It was already there, so the insert failed, you know. Which is bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break at 1868 RBC. Oh, I'm not in GNU Debugger. And I'll run it with examples modules.redscript, and I'll run it with redscript testing as the output world. Huh? What? Okay, it literally broke at a comment. But we can print F. No? I broke at 1874. No. 1865. That's weird. So P function, and I'll dereference function. So this is function X. So X doesn't have a parent, so we're gonna continue. And this is function Y, and you can see its parent is X. So let's go next line. Next. And now let's print oh shit. Doing this on the same line screws with the debugger really bad, so I gotta run it again. So continue. and P function. So we're at Y. So now we're at, we go now, straight, now we're at PF. Parental hash string is nothing. Wait, don't tell me wait, okay, negative parent. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is break at get parent hash string. And run it again. Continue. 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 Okay. Okay. Why does it look like that? What the hell? Why is that? I thought a hash was was it not was a hash not a hex string? No? Could someone tell me that? Well, why isn't it a large hex string? Does anybody know the answer? Can I ask ChatGPT? Yeah, good question. I thought I was. Like, I'm doing a hash of a string, creating a hash object. And making a hash of a standard string. Let me ask, how do I get the hash of a string in C++ in hex format? So I need to use SHA. Using standard hash for quick non-cryptographic hashes. Okay, I gotta make a helper function. Time to just slap it into util. Okay. Just include all of these guys, but I think some of them... What the hell is going on? So I just copied that straight there because I couldn't be asked to do this. GPT gave this to me. Let's use it. Util hash to hex. Oh, hash returns an unsigned long. Returns a size t. Oh, so okay, I can just pass in my current parent. So it's actually a. You're right. It returns a number and size t. Okay. I'll be back in 2 seconds while this compiles. Alright, so this is going to work perfectly, and then I'm going to take a break for a few hours. Before I go, I'll give you a sneak peek of the video I'm making, because I think it's good. It's a little bit more goofy than like serious. I think that'll be a lot better. Catch some people's attention. And by goofy, I mean funny. Any day now, computer. Okay. Let me use my whole screen. Hey! Okay, we've been given the hash value of x. My lord. Oh my lord. Yippee is correct. Okay, let's see what the compiler thinks about me doing this straight away. 2x methods. Function already exists. Good. What about this? Good, it works. And then x.mc function is out here. And what if I made method y out here? Oh, it's going to be the same hash. But it doesn't matter that it's the same hash because it's in a different directory. I don't want to pat myself on the back, guys, but we have done something monumental here. We have done something absolutely monumental. Okay, but something's not going to work here. Something isn't going to work, and that is when we're calling. So if I go down here and I call x, we know that's going to call a function, but it's calling redscript x. Okay, so it knows how to distinguish between them. But what if I wanted to call in here? I wanted to call y. I don't think it's going to use the hash. Oh, unknown function name. Interesting. And that's an error because we need to go to where we find functions. Hold on a second. Let me just turn this back in. We're going to go back to here and we're going to change this so when we look for a function down here, as you can see, we look for it if we're in a module, we know where to go and look. Else we're going to try and use the functions to find. If we didn't find anything, then we can try and we know current function exists. So if program current function name does not equal the name, I can put that down here. Just do that. And in between here, I can do if So we know program current function exists now, and we can do program a current function child functions dot find. Ah, it's a vector. Why did I make it a vector? Why the hell did I make it a vector? Yeah, let's change this into an unordered map. And we'll do find name does not equal to sorry, auto child that if child, what I'm gonna do is just call this error like so, like that, and I can say if child equals current function child functions end, go to error, go to not found. I'll rename it to not found. Now there's going to be a few more errors because obviously we changed it from a list to a thingy. So we're going to do insert program dot current function name, and then we can do current function is the value. So that's going to work fine. And instead of pushback child, we have to pushback child dot second and pushback child dot second. Just double check there's no more errors. Should be fine. Okay, let's build it. Hopefully this will invoke the correct Y, but it also will do the entire name, because I don't think it will. I think it will, because all we did was rename the function, but we didn't rename it quick enough. So what I might do if this doesn't work is move the yeah, it's not gonna work. Let me terminate this and okay, one sec. Oh my god. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly move the where we see down here we say parental hash string. I'm gonna do this. No, I can't. Damn it. I need to rename the functions so that, for example, when we do the call in here, we're doing factory.invoke function. Oh, okay, wait. Let's keep that line in there. And the only time where we use these functions is in invoke. And all of these, where is it? Call. So we now have the function f down here, as you can see, and we can do function dot parental. Yeah, so we can get the parental hash string easily. So invoke is what we need to do. We need to go into invoke and we need to do module plus colon plus func.get parent hash string plus func.name, and we'll plus wait, we'll just do this. Parent hash string is func.get parent hash string, and then I'll say if not parent hash string dot empty, then we will parent hash string dot push back, and we'll push one char, which is just an underscore, so we can easily append it in here. Okay, let's build it, and we should be done. Actually, I won't give you that sneak peek. I think it'll come out in Discord soon enough. Unfortunate. I don't think you guys know how hungry I am. I'm also going to upload all these VODs, by the way, to a different channel, and I'll link it in the Discord or wherever and in the... We'll be looking forward to. Thanks, man. Yeah, it should be out when I release the alpha, which is... I think the alpha will be coming in the next... I think it definitely before next week. So maybe 5 days, or before, before 7 days from now. So probably 5 days from now, I think I'll have it released, and then I can focus on the video and have it done in a day or two. So in a week it'll be out. Tell your friends, tell your family. It's gonna be the craziest thing ever. I'm so hungry. Okay, let's run it. And we get a seg fault. Okay. I'm gonna break something. I am gonna break something. Thanks, man. Thanks. I didn't know I didn't already break something. Cheers. Well, it's because of the new code, so let's just break at 6:12. And program current function should exist. So, oh, I never assigned it. Never assigned it. That's embarrassing. Ah. Guess we got another seg fault. Okay, that's fine. That's actually a problem because it's not in the program functions. It's in a Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is well, it's a nested function, so it can't really be found normally. So I'm gonna do switch. I'm gonna do if instruct auto or RBC value reference p1 or p0 is instruction of parameters dot at 0, and if p0 dot index is 0, then we can do all of this, and I'll put you out there. So that should have no errors, I think. And then else, we're gonna just basically get a pointer to it. So we're gonna get a shared void pointer to function, which is going to be standard get shared pointer void. Bear with me here, and we're gonna dereference p0. No, just p0. Get that. Then we're going to do f is equal to Can I do that? Actually, don't think I can. GPT is telling me to do a standard static pointer cast. Didn't know that existed. Good to know. And then we're going to do name is f name. It's still an error. Oh, that's the error. And I'm going to go up to where we do RBC instruction call. So that's the only place we do it. So the first thing is going to be a constant. But if the function has a parent, what we're going to do is just directly pass in. If it doesn't have a parent, do that. And if it does have a parent, we're just going to do a call instruction with the first index just being a RBC value of function. But that's not working because right, I'm gonna fix this bug, but unfortunately I have to go. Thank you for tuning in, guys, especially you, Sebastian. Kudos. I think that's how you use that word, I have no idea. But I gotta run. I might be back on in an hour or so. Thank you, I'm gonna enjoy my meal so much. And I'll have this committed in an hour or so. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you on Discord, or I'll see you soon. Thank you.